time to catch another ship, yeah. And it's like a lotus, so it's time to flip the script, yeah. Cruising through the bay on that fucking air battleship, sold up, screaming out, Buck, what you heard? So Buck, what you heard? So Buck, what you heard? So Buck, what you heard?
All right, welcome back to Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, and you know what? I'm going to follow you back. Trust me. And tonight I am joined by my co-host KB. How you doing, man?
Still in recovery, Gene, but
Still
we're
in
getting there.
recovery. I love this, man. This is what it's all about, man. When you lose your voice, there are stories to be told here, baby.
Yeah, no sickness, no nothing like that. Just a little too much yelling recently.
So what's going on, man? What happened?
Work trips, man. Work trips. It was a lot of fun. It was nice to get out. Yeah, met a lot of people working for a remote company. You know how it is. Like, you don't get to interact with too many people day to day,
Uh-huh.
but brought everyone to one place, so it was a lot of fun.
That's what's up, man. I love it, man. I love hearing stuff like that. For me, man, this has been another week in the off season, man, and it's just like, when is it? When is this gonna ever end? It just feels like it's going on forever. So, I know for me, I I'm happy with where the Bucs are. I'm gonna say that, and I need to put that out there because there's so much negativity when nothing's going on right now and shit ain't going on. People are like making up stuff to be upset or complain about, and right now the Bucs are in a good place, and I'm happy for them.
With the exception of Gronk, I mean, and
I
a
think
D-line spot or two, like every 95% of our roster is there, and we still got a month till the draft. We're in a great place to be right now.
Oh, heck yeah. And again, man, just remember the dark place we were all in when the off season started. Hey, just where everybody was, or you just couldn't process the hits the Bucs were taking. And now I hope what fans take away from this is you appreciate what you have with this team, whether it's the general manager, your quarterback, your defense, just a competitive team that can go out there, and there's always that chance that they're going to go to the Super Bowl, especially when you consider you got
But
Tom
Gene,
Terrific.
Gene, not to cut you off though, but all I've heard about is Tom Brady's trying to orchestrate a trade right now to Miami, and we want Baker Mayfield. He's QB1.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I don't normally mention his name, but Mike Florio's behind this shit. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care where they heard it from. Mike Florio is orchestrating this somehow.
You think he's best friends with that Boston Bruins writer or
Yeah, I'm
whatever
pretty sure he
who leaked
is.
that?
Yeah, whoever leaked that can kiss my ass too. You know what?
Well, he's the guy who apparently was first to Brady to Tampa, so that's why people gave it validity, but
Mm,
it makes no logical sense.
yeah, it makes no sense at all. Hey guys, if you're following me on Twitter, DM me. We're doing a contest, Smack Apparel T-shirt. A matter of fact, and again, this is the beauty of going live. I'm trying to see if I can find it here, just so you guys can see it, because I've been kind of him hawing around here with things, and there's a couple of shirts. Yeah, I think this is it right here. So give me a second here. I'm still, normally I just go live and I talk about stuff and I don't get involved with graphics or any of that other crap. But
Well, since we last talked, Gene, Lenny has signed a nice little deal. Basically, 2 years, 11 million is basically in his guaranteed. About 7 million a year is kind of what it looks like, which
Mhm.
on the surface sounds like a lot, but like his cap number this year is going to be pretty low. And I think whether if it's Brady or someone else next year, it's nice to know kind of what you have at that position. Oh,
Absolutely.
look at that. Unfinished business, baby.
This is the shirt right here. Smack Apparel just came out with this shirt. God bless Smack Apparel. I'm gonna say that. You guys are awesome. Jeff, Robbie, everybody over there at Smack Apparel. I love you guys and I appreciate you. This is the shirt right here. God bless Giselle. I think this is hilarious. You walk around, especially if you don't live in Tampa. You wear this, and people are like, what does that mean? Oh, you gotta look at the back of it. You'll understand it. Smack Apparel always
Giselle's global though, baby. Giselle probably has more influence on the world than Tom does.
you know what? That's probably true. I will definitely be rocking this shirt when I'm over in England. I definitely will be rocking this shirt. Trust
Are
me.
you going to Germany?
I will not be able to. I'm not going to be able to. We're going to Paris.
Ooh, some love.
Wasn't my first choice. So probably what's going to happen.
Gene's gonna be stuck in the Louvre looking at some paintings and being
let's
like,
let's hope when I get to Scotland,
ugh.
let's hope I don't get too drunk while I'm in Scotland. There's a really bad situation.
Just stay away from the tequila. That's my advice to you.
Oh no, that's
And my
Mexico.
whole company will tell you that one.
Well, what kind of tequila are you guys drinking?
I plead the fifth. I'm Deshaun Watsoning this right now.
Oh, you're pleading the fifth dimension, huh? That's the way I would do.
Oh yeah, we're gonna keep it PG.
All right. No, we went to Tequila, Mexico last year, and let me tell you,
Wait, there's actually a city named Tequila.
Yeah, Tequila, Mexico, and Jalisco, the state of Jalisco in Mexico. And I'm gonna tell you what, man, I love tequila. I know a lot of people don't like tequila because they've had bad experiences with cheap tequila. Um, I'm kind of a tequila snob. It has to be top shelf añejo or reposado or extra añejo, something like that, and it has to be certain brands that I drink. So um, that's kind of where I'm at. But anyway, I want to
One
definitely
tequila,
jump
two
back.
tequila, three tequila. Floor.
Yeah, what is that? That's the country song. Yeah. Olga, how you doing? Olga, it's good to hear from you. I haven't talked to you in forever. Hopefully you're doing okay. Bud Cannibalist, Mr. Everything's Bucs, and King Cook. One of the first guys to say what's up when the show started. What's going on, my friend? Shooter in the stash. And what kind of blasphemy is this? Someone posted about
He's
AB.
been posting pictures of him in Ravens jerseys. He's been trying to suck off Lamar and
Yeah.
their ownership, and
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. There's organizations that care about
You remember when he called himself the Super Gremlin? I decided.
I still don't even know what that means, man.
It's a song.
Are we talking about the movie Gremlins? Like, I
No,
don't even know.
it's there's a rapper named Kodak Black. He made a song called Super Gremlins, and so AB kind of attached himself. I prefer to call him Super Quitter because that's pretty much what he does. And
If he doesn't think he can get the targets that he was getting, even in the half in that Jets game, let's pretend nothing. We're talking strictly what happened on the field. Like, we don't know what happened before the game and his contract and all. Let's just say targets. You think the Ravens and Lamar are going to give him 10, 15 targets a game?
Not happening. Not happening. There's no
And
way.
that's the beauty about Lamar. Lamar is basically a one-man army. Yeah, they would like to have someone to catch passes, but they're going to win 10 to 12 games every year as long as Lamar's healthy, which he
I know you
wasn't
guys are
last
going
year.
to think I'm crazy, but I would take Deshaun Jackson over AB. I would, and I hate both of them. I can't stand both. I can't stand their philosophies as far as the game goes. But if I had to choose somebody, I would take a Deshaun Jackson. Well, does he stay healthy?
Can we take out the most recent endeavor with AB? Because my whole mindset with that is Deshaun Jackson. The Rams won the Super Bowl last year, people forget Deshaun Jackson was on that roster. His
He was
only
long
game
gone,
that he actually played and played well in was the Bucs game. Every other game was shithouse, and then he basically forced his way out. AB, as much as I don't like him, he still played a season and a half's worth or a season's worth of games in the 2 years.
volatile. He's
He
volatile.
is, but Deshaun, whether if it was his character or whatever, or he tweaked something, he just was never available. He only plays comeback games. Literally, look at his career for the past 3 or 4 years. Unless he's playing the Eagles, unless he's playing the Commanders, formerly known as the football team, formerly known as the Redskins, or the Bucs,
formerly known as the artist known as Prince. Yeah, I get what you're saying here.
I mean, can you tell me one game that he had last year with the Raiders that was good or memorable?
Now you guys.
That's what I mean, though. AB, even when he wasn't good or still learning the offense or whatever, I mean, he had an impact.
Yeah,
he was there.
I think I'm more so bitter that what he could have done when Chris Godwin went down.
But that was his leverage, though, Gene.
right.
Once Godwin went down, it's my show because everyone's just going to double Mike
right. Well, this is the thing, man. This is how I'm looking at it. There's always next year, and if you're setting
until there
yourself,
isn't.
yeah, exactly. But if you're setting yourself with, and I'm just thinking personally, this is how I would think it through. I'm this talent. I'm coming back from injury. I'm doing what the coach wants me to do. This is making it easier for me next year to get that max contract. May not be a max contract, but you're going to get a lot of bread if you sit in there and play within the system. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, he did what he had to do." Yeah, I totally get that. This is a free country. You can do whatever the hell you want to, but you're only looking this far ahead. You're not seeing the forest to the trees. You're only looking so far ahead. And by him coming in, playing, being the asset that we knew he could be instead of being the asshole we think he is, it could have been it could have made a difference. Chris Godwin goes down. You've got a viable number 2 wide receiver in Antonio Brown right there, had he still been there. And I understand with Tristan Wirfs. I can tell you that with Tristan Wirfs' injury, that was huge. But when you look at the drop off from Antonio Brown to your next receiver on, next man up, it's huge. It's a steep drop off. It's like when you had Mike Evans and Vincent Jackson on the same field, and Vincent Jackson goes down, and you look at the steep drop off you had at wide receiver at that point. It's just kind of something similar to that. As I'm looking at the game, so I don't know. He could have done so much more for himself, not just for the team, but if you want to look at it from a selfish aspect for himself, he could have done so much.
Well, no, exactly. And AB, I mean, we all can agree he still has the talent and ability.
Oh,
But
definitely.
we're looking at Deshaun Watson right now, who just got paid $250 million fully guaranteed, despite he might have another, case where it could become a criminal trial again, or grand jury. Like all of these are still options. Like that Deshaun could seriously he could go to jail, and the Browns already traded the picks and they already paid the
That would
money.
be so Cleveland-ish right there.
But this is where we're at though, Gene, is if you have the talent in the NFL, they've shown that they will keep you. Like
Right.
you will still play in the NFL until
Josh
you're Ray
Josh
Rice and
Gordon.
you're not as good anymore.
Josh Gordon.
Until what's the not Randy Gregory? What's the defensive end who played for the Cowboys and then the Bears?
Not Alden Smith.
No, the one who's the MMA fighter now. The one who like
The
seriously
Kraken.
well,
What is
he beat up his like
the
girlfriend, and it
Kraken.
was very viral.
Yeah.
And then, you look at AB, yes, he didn't pay someone. He didn't, multiple people, it sounds like. He, faked his
Greg
vax card,
Hardy.
or
Thank
Greg
you. Thank
Hardy.
you, Shooter. Yeah.
Greg Hardy. But then like you have the vaccine issue, like like his helmet issue, like he has a lot of minor offenses when you look at what other NFL players are going through right now, and they still don't want him. That tells you how much and how bad, like much people want to avoid them, and how bad, like they just can't take that kind of, even for a veteran minimum.
Mm.
Like, hey, help us for a couple weeks.
Bud Cannabis brings up a great
Oh,
point
no
here
way.
when he says, he always does. He always brings it every time he's on. He brings it. Bud Cannabis says, I don't think Harbaugh would take a chance on AB. I don't agree. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I mean, you've got somewhat of a dynamic right there. You got a great nucleus on both sides of the ball. I just don't see where you risk it all. You risk the locker room. You risk wins. You look at what AB did. That's an indictment on him, and you risk wins as a team. I know that football is the ultimate team sport, but you consider what contributions a healthy AB gives to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers down the stretch that they did not have. And again, people can say we can all say what if, but I can promise you it's definitely a better drop. I would rather have AB on the other side of Mike Evans against the Rams. I would take that all day and twice on Sundays. I just would. A healthy AB and a Mike Evans against that squad. I just don't know how they deal with both of those wide receivers at the during the game.
Well,
If
yeah, and
With
then
Tom Brady under center.
And then I mean that kind of leaves kind of the Bucks in this crossroad because I mean they paid Gage, and
Mm.
Gage, when you look at the rest of the wide receiver contracts, really isn't a bad deal at all.
No, that's actually a sweet deal.
But Gene, let's say Gronk were to retire.
Mhm.
I hate, loathe people thinking that tight end is a huge need for this team,
It
not
won't.
understanding BA's offense. Like Heath Miller was a supremely good tight end, but you don't he was more of a blocker than he was an
Right.
impact receiver. BA, if Gronk doesn't come back, I think wide receivers on the table
Yeah.
round one, round two.
And when you think about it, what Gronk was to this team, I mean, his footwork, his hand placement as an offensive lineman, and you can attest to this, and I'm not just BSing here.
Well, especially his 2020 tape,
Right.
like
Yeah.
that he was a little bit more of a receiver this past year than he
Mhm.
was the year before. But man, like his 2020 tape, and
He,
granted,
he
that was
you
after a
know,
year of not playing.
exactly. And
It was insane.
he elevated that offensive line, just what he did, just how he worked, how he worked with that offensive line as a tight end. That was just what that offensive line needed. And now I would say he would be more of an offensive weapon with the loss of an Ali Marpet, and you're bringing in the offensive linemen that they
Shaq
are.
Mason.
Yeah, Shaq Mason, and we are expecting to see some offensive linemen in the draft. I expect to see a defensive lineman in the draft somewhere along the line.
Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, we talk about the trenches a bunch in this show. I mean, it depends on if they bring back Sue and Nacho, or are they gonna try to go a little bit more agile pass rush with the D tackle? So we'll see. But I mean, as of right now, I mean, heck, what if we drafted a Devonta Wyatt in round one and you still brought back Sue?
Yeah,
Sue can play the nose. He can
bro,
he can
and
split reps with Vita Veas with and let or maybe start and have Wyatt, play a little mix and match as well.
yeah.
That's great.
These are the kind of problems that I'm loving that the Bucks have. These kind of problems because you've got your core. You've got your core on your defensive line, your linebacker core, your secondary where you brought in some great players. Now you can draft and you can plug and play free agents in there, and you have a quality defensive side of the ball. Same with the offense. I think your offensive, the core is there. You can plug and play different players, and you're not losing a lot. I mean, as long as you're uh, drafting or picking up free agents that fit your scheme, I think these are the Bucks are in a very nice position right now.
Yeah, well, and exactly. I mean, when we looked a couple of years ago, I mean, Gronk signed the week before the draft too, and then now Sue, he doesn't care when he signs. I mean, Sue, we
Yeah,
know he's going to make $6 to $9 million, probably like most, if not fully
bro.
guaranteed. Like, and he has he's his own agent, so he doesn't worry about no 10 to
I'm gonna tell you
15%.
right now that guy is if I had
If
to.
you don't follow him on Twitter, any of you in this chat right now, you're losing out on
Yeah, you really
monetary financial
and, and
advice.
and especially exactly that's where I was going with that financial advice. uh the man is a genius. He's a financial genius. His portfolio is just out of this world. I've learned since he's been a Buccaneer, I've learned so much just with some of his tweets. He's dropping gems all the time, and it's kind of helped me. I lean more towards crypto than the stock market. I'm kind of dragging my feet. The stock market's a loaded game. I'm sorry. I apologize to anybody that in my opinion, it's a loaded game. I don't want to get off on another tangent because I could go on and on about the stock market and Wall Street and all that other good stuff. But just in Dominican Sue, when he first came to Tampa, so many people were like, "What's he gonna do in the locker room? He's just a bad person. He did this." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, what is he gonna do? Stomp on Tom Brady's hand? I
You
swear to
know,
God, I
you know,
saw
you
that a
know what,
bunch too.
guys, and I don't condone violence, but I understand. And Aaron Rodgers, man, miss me with that. He's division rival. Miss me with that. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm going to leave it alone. That was in the past. He's matured. He's a quiet leader in the locker room, and I love Ndamukong Suh. He's my number 93. I'm going to say that. I don't know. Hopefully, it doesn't rub anybody the wrong way. He's my number 93. And this is subjective. I've seen what he's done. I've seen what he's meant to this team. I've seen how he's mentored Vita Vea. He's my 93. And I just
And here's the thing about, him though. Like him and I mean you can look at him and David and for instance, like they never had any real leadership when they were young. They never got that kind of advice. So you kind of see David even to this day is still kind of a like not like a loner, but like he's a lead by example, not very vocal where Devin White is just yelling, everything and at anyone. Like and then you have Gerald McCoy who I mean, like he was just happy go lucky, and
hey
I mean,
Carolina, I'm home. Fuck that dude.
well, and you know what? Like
No
I'm
cheese,
not
bro.
gonna hate Gerald for that. I think Gerald was a great player, but
Dude,
for
I'm gonna stop you right there. Hold on. Right, real quick. If you've looked at any other Bucks player that has gone to another team other than Jameis Winston, who was throwing shade about quarterback
Harvard,
university,
yeah.
yeah. Other than that, he's the he. I I back this dude. I went to war for him on social media where people were just like trashing this guy, and I was good with his play, but when he left, he showed no graciousness when he left. He, and now the Bucks go to the Super Bowl, and he's like, oh well, maybe I can come back and play. I love driving by Raymond James Stadium. No, you love driving by the stadium in Carolina. And I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says to me. That was insulting to
Well, the
me.
worst thing he ever did to me for me was the first take interview.
Yes. And I was just getting to that part of it too. But for him, you don't see any of these other players. You don't see Alex Kappa walking around the Bengal Stadium talking about I'm home.
But can we talk about that Joe Burrow? He brought all those O linemen, smoking them cigars with all of them, playing Mr.
That's swag.
Salesman.
My
I just
boys,
want to throw
my
that
boy,
out there. That
my boy
that
got some swag.
that was a recruiting tactic. Sorry,
My
keep
boy
going.
got some swagger to him. I'm telling you that right now. You know
But
what?
please continue about
If I'm an
McCoy.
O lineman, you know this, and your quarterback's got that kind of confidence, bro. You were an O lineman on a high level. Talk to me.
Bro, like, I mean, shit, we know Burrow's going to be making $500 million soon. Like, he knows he's got his golden ticket. Like, he's the man right now. I mean, everyone was Mahomes 2 years ago. Last year it was Josh Allen. Right now it's his time.
Bro,
Like,
his rookie season though. He was
second year. He got the torn ACL his rookie year.
right, but his rookie season, he was putting up some big numbers before he got injured.
Yeah, but
And I only say that because he was on my fantasy football team the year that I played and
but
embarrassed
we didn't
myself.
even start him at that time. God bless you, Dak. Um, but yeah, no. So I mean, it,
Yeah, if Dak hadn't gotten hurt, we really, I probably wouldn't have. But I'm telling you what, just watching what Joe Burrow, what he had to work with in Cincinnati's rookie year, no offensive line. I mean, he had a whole bunch of O'Neal cousins on that offensive line. And it was just
can we talk about this little shooter in the stash comment
yeah,
right
yeah,
there?
absolutely, absolutely,
I give it my 5 stars of approval.
100%.
Give me Carl Nassib back in this league and on this team where basically him and Anthony Nelson they could fucking rush from the 3 or whatever. Like I know they're gonna give effort.
Yeah,
That's what you want in
they're
backup D
hungry. That's
lineman.
what I'm saying. And to me,
Give Carl like $3 million. That's fine. If he
yeah,
gets 7 sacks, $3 million well spent.
yeah, the best ability is availability, and we saw while he was with the Raiders. I mean, he was pretty healthy, and I love that. I love
Yeah,
the
but he
fact.
was playing backup though. I mean, they had they had the best tandem defensive ends, outside linebackers, pass rushers, whatever you want to call them, edge rushers, like in the league. Like they dominate against the run, they dominate against the pass. He just was kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah,
I
SOL.
mean,
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I don't know, man. I would love to have him back. I think that you can depend when you talk about dependability. As Bucks fans, we've seen players like Swaggy Baker and other players that have been brought in, and you have this expectation of them, but when they're going out and playing, they're like their expectation like is below the floor. But players like Carl Nassib, you knew that at some point in the game you're going to get a big play from him and you could get consistent play from him, and it didn't drop. there was no drop in his motor. So he's somebody that I would love to see him back in Tampa. I would not have a problem with that, and I love the idea.
He's also a good locker room guy, and I know he was on the Bucs before he officially came out, but that, and I know we can get all political on here, that should not matter to anything that's going on right now. Like Carl
Listen,
Nassib is a good football player, and we know when, anyone's been came out in any professional sports league, they kind of get flamed out really quickly. And I don't want to see that to Carl. Carl's too nice of a guy. He was a fan favorite on that Hard Knock season. We were talking about Swaggy Baker. Like
mm,
that's where people fell in love with Carl when he was on the Browns.
okay.
I mean, the financials,
My whole thing with Carl Nassib is he was a stand up guy. He really was.
exactly. And the players liked him. And
Yeah.
when he was cut, like you could tell the Browns organization didn't like that.
No, no, they weren't happy with it. And what he did for Tampa was very important. And
Help
I
Shaq. I
would
mean, Shaq got 18 or 19 and a half sacks across from him.
yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Just getting him back in here. Here's a guy that can still produce. He's got a lot in the tank. And I would just be excited to have him on this team. I don't know. But again, at this point, guys, I love the general manager. And Jason Light, since Jason Light has been part of the Buccaneers organization, and people may not agree with me. I've had people that have like DM'd me and said, I'm not watching your show anymore because you will not address Jason Light. I'm like, his body of work hasn't been completed. We don't know what Jason Light had, and this was back in 2016, 2017. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, he's learning as he's going. But I tell you what, he's working, he's got a coach that he can work with. He's got a coaching staff, and they all know what they're doing. Did you realize? I don't know, off the subject. I thought the Bucs had the largest coaching staff in the NFL. They do.
He just got beat by one.
Yeah. But when you talk about diversity, I think that the Bucs
Not
have the
even
most.
close.
I don't think anybody's even close to the Bucs.
Women, African
Yeah,
American,
yeah. Just everybody.
old, young,
Yeah,
former players, excuse me, like,
yeah. And
analytics, all above.
exactly.
A rule specialist, like
I love that about this team. Just the fact that they're thinking outside the box and they're finding different ways to be successful. And I love that about this team. It's something that we haven't had, and I think the team is going in a great direction, and I expect to see more of this in years to come.
well, and speaking of direction, I mean, everyone's looking forward to the draft, and that's where, Jason Light makes his money. And
I think the offseason, I think
what's Jason Light's biggest blemish in his career?
running
Um,
back,
no, come on.
kicker.
Yeah. How would you feel
Wait a minute,
about
come on, timeout. Hold on, timeout. Hold on. We got to go back to running back. We got to address this. Charles Sims,
Rojo?
Charles Sims, Doug Martin,
Yeah, but
Ronald.
you find Leonard Fournette. You've also
Yeah,
found Shaq
but
Barrett. We haven't done well
Leonard
with Edge
Fournette.
either.
Leonard Fournette was free agent. He
No, but no,
wasn't.
no. What I'm saying is you find like if you to me like for instance, like if you struggle at a position but then you sign someone cheap,
Yeah,
I think it's a
yeah,
wash.
yeah. I totally
I
agree with
think
you.
Rojo, and if we're gonna like line everyone up, Rojo would be a push. There's probably more on the bad than there is good.
Yeah,
But like to me, if you put Lenny on the good, it outweighs all the bad.
yeah. And you know what? This is one of those moments, and people may not agree with me here. I think that Rojo will be successful in Kansas City.
I will push all my chips that he won't be, and I'll tell you one thing why. He can't catch. The
Uh,
KC offense is built. They had three primary pass catchers last year: Jarek McKinnon, Daryl Williams, and
and
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Edward Claire, yeah,
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, people forget, in the postseason was relegated to basically the number 3 running back.
yeah.
Rojo is going to be in there when Casey has a 2 or 3 touchdown lead. He's not going to be there in the first, second, and third down offense. He's there
No,
to
hell
grind
no,
out
he
the
can't
clock.
be. And because he can't, he can't read a defense and he can't pick up blitzes.
But this is why I don't think he'll be successful in KC, and it's not
Yeah,
because again, if Ronald Jones played for the
the Colts
Baltimore Ravens or
or
the
the Colts.
Colts, where he wouldn't have the responsibilities of pass
That was
protecting, catching, um, being able to just be situated like Rojo to me is the perfect like 4 minute offense running back right now. Like
right.
he's gonna grind out 3-4 yards, and then you know
He's
what?
always moving
He'll
forward.
break one out. He'll break one out. Like he's not gonna get you a lot of impact plays in a game. He's not gonna make too many catches for you in the passing game. So I
Yeah,
just don't like the fit
yeah,
for him. I think there's probably about 4 or 5 teams that I think made more sense. And I think what you do is I mean, it's too cliche to just say that Jameis Winston, go somewhere that you can, be a
yeah,
good fit. Maybe for not the number one, but like
yeah,
you go there and it's the right offense for you.
yeah. And like you look at Jameis Winston. Look at his situation. Jameis Winston should have went to the Steelers. Jameis Winston, that would have been the ideal fit for Jameis Winston to go to the Steelers. The way that they're disrespecting him in New Orleans, just blows
You
my
want to
mind.
know something wild about that? What if I told you that the Saints just lost a third round comp pick because of signing Andy Dalton to a backup contract?
I believe that.
Gene, they lost what's their left tackle's name? Teron Armstead.
Teron Armstead, yeah.
So he was going to be their net new acquisition for a comp pick. It would have been a third or fourth round comp
Yep.
pick. They lost it just to give Andy
It was
Dalton a
a wash.
2-year, $6 million contract.
Yeah.
They lost it
Mhm.
because the way NFL goes, it's not like you match. If you sign 4 people that were on your roster and you lost 3, you're at net zero still. And the
100%.
Saints had one more than lost than what they've signed, and now they're back to even again. So it's like it never happened. Like
What is
I just don't know why. I understand getting Jameis insurance. I just don't. You can't. That's just terrible
this is
organization running right there.
this right here, and I'm going to agree with you because Jameis has a bunch of bumpy games. Fans are going to be calling for the Red Rooster to come out there and do what he does.
I don't know. I don't know. I think again, granted, what's going to be the big test is Sean Payton's not there. Sean Payton did an amazing job. If we're talking Jameis won or played like 6 or 7 games last year and only had one shitty game, that is progress, baby.
Yeah,
Like he was check
because,
down Charlie, game manager, and that's what he needed. And then he
yeah,
would throw his, Marquez Callaway, like I'm dodging the blitz and just throwing it up to you.
mm,
Like whatever, that's Jameis. But like he didn't do anything wrong other than in
but
one game
but
in my eyes.
Jameis was on a short leash with Sean Payton though. You know, very
Well,
short.
Sean Payton also paid Taysom Hill an obscene amount of money to not even play
Yeah, that
quarterback
that
anymore.
that was not even that was ridiculous. But the reason I say that is to say this: we've always and again when Bucs fans love him or hate him, we got to the end when it came to the end of his career in Tampa. Decision making was always a conversation starter when it came to Jameis Winston. Always, it always came up. Well, you're down 6 points. You're not down a touch a whole. You're not down 7, but you put the game on your shoulders and you throw a pick six, or you do this and you throw an interception. You put your defense on a short field and you make it harder for them. That kind of thing.
You know what would help those short field situations, Gene? What if I told you there's a kid from San Diego State that would be worthy of a third round draft choice?
I would believe it. You know what? And we haven't really talked about this, and I think this is a great time. These smaller colleges are producing some really quality players. They really are. And so when you talk to me about a non a non top 10
Well, yeah,
school,
but what position do you think I'm talking about right now?
I think you're talking about on the defensive side of the ball, on the defensive line, really
Not offense either.
special teams.
A
What about
punter.
Jose?
Jose's already on the practice squad. I'm talking
Well,
about a
that's what I'm
punter,
saying.
baby. Look up Matt Ariza, all of you in my chat. In our
Matt
chat, excuse me.
Ariza. Let's see.
Matt Ariza. multiple 60, 70, and 80-yard punch, Gene. This kid is a lefty. This kid is literally Pat McAfee. He can tackle. But most importantly, he can also do kickoffs.
Wow.
So with that, Gene,
Mhm.
like for instance, people pop quiz for Gene in the chat. What punter was taken before Russell Wilson? For instance, people pop quiz for Gene in the chat. I think I just went on. Oh yeah, okay. So Gene, what you got there? What punter was taken before Russell Wilson?
Let's see who was taken before Russell Wilson.
It was in the third round.
Third round before Russell
He
Wilson.
played for the Bucs.
Um,
He was bald.
not Matt Bryan.
No, punter.
Punter.
Arrgh.
Hold on. Don't.
What am I doing right now? I'm what at you?
Oh yeah. Don't help me here. Brian Anger.
There you go.
Brian.
So Brian Anger, when you think about Brian Anger on the surface, he lacked consistency, but his top end talent, like his 1 year with the Bucs, was superb.
Right.
He's had a couple superb years and a couple down years.
Right.
But this Matt Ariza kid, I'm telling you, Gene, what's the one thing
Listen.
that lows you as the Bucs fan? We used to hate when a kicker lined up for a field goal. For me, it's when we go 3 and out and the punting team comes out, and the next thing you know, you have a short punt or you have a punt that's kicked pretty far, but we give up 30 yards on the return.
Yeah. Again, Pinion. They need to upgrade at that position. Pinion needs to go. I think they're paying him too much money. Personally, I don't try to count people's money, but when I look at the whole situation, that's kind of what I take away from it.
Well, while we're on the draft though, Gene, what are your go-to at least positions, in the first couple rounds? What are you hoping the Bucs do to address the
I
roster?
would love to see the Bucs address the secondary. And forgive me, folks, I'm starting to get more into the draft and what draft picks I'm looking for, but I think the secondary is something that I would be looking at. Possibly, if there's a good linebacker out there, I would be looking at linebacker too. Possibly.
You mean
Um,
like a Levante David
yeah,
replacement, or are you talking
yeah.
more of like a pass rusher?
I'm thinking more of a Levante David pass rusher. If replacement, if I don't really see anybody that could come in and do what I think he's like a once in a every 8 year player, once in every 10 year player. I don't think you're just gonna find somebody that's gonna come out here and just be like, I'm gonna replace him. But you know, again, I kind of lean more towards the GM, man. Hey, do your thing, bro.
Except running back.
Except for running. You know what? And here we go. I'm glad you brought that up, bringing us back to full circle. All right. So we talked about Charles Sims. Um, we talked about Doug Martin and then Ronald Jones. Realistically, if you
Jeremy
look,
McNichols, I'm gonna throw him in
no,
there as
we're
well
not
with
talking about
Rojo.
no McMuffin. McMuffin is not included. McMuffin was not here long enough to make an impact. I know he was drafted, but his head was not right while he was with the Bucs, and he had to endure a whole lot to get him to where he is with the Tennessee Titans. And so, I personally I can see how Tennessee is using him, but for me, McMuffin was, I was just like, I don't know, you probably could have picked a kicker at that position. I don't know. But he didn't do anything for the Bucs. He didn't show any flashes. I mean, realistically, did McMuffin show any flashes as a Buccaneer?
No, his nickname was Snoop Dogg McPlaybook because he had no idea what the hell was going on. He didn't know the playbook.
Yeah.
Dirk
Yeah,
Cutter didn't even trust him in preseason games.
exactly. So what I'm saying is McMuffin was not my guy. And again, that's why he still has the nickname McMuffin, because he's McMuffin. And so now, he's found his place, he's found his niche. He realizes he's not that dude that he thought he was coming out of college, and he found his place in Tennessee, and I'm happy for him. But while he was here, yeah, whatever.
Well, and to me, I mean, I've already gone on my rants about, drafting a running back in the first round.
Oh,
I
well, we
mean, like, it doesn't even matter the talent really level to me because, like, for instance, let's take a running back situation from last year, Gene. Do you know what running back led the NFL in touchdowns last year?
was it Cordero Patterson?
He played for the Cardinals on a $1.6 million contract.
Oh, Connor, James
So
Connor.
James Conner, so Steelers, let James Conner go. He goes
Mhm.
to Arizona on a really cheap deal.
But you got to
One point.
consider who they had just drafted, though. But we'll get back to that. Go ahead and continue.
So the Steelers, what's their replacement?
Oh, they
Najee
draft.
Harris.
Yeah, not
Najee Harris comes in with basically the same, if not worse, offensive line play. They average the same around yards per carry, 3.6 to 3.8. James Conner has 17 touchdowns, $1.6 million. You can find these people off the streets free. Like when we get to when the regular season starts, there's going to be two or three running backs that are going to get cut that you don't even expect it.
exactly. I'm expecting, and in June, but that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. And folks, if you're watching Buck, what you heard, you watched this last year, you watched the year before. This roster is fluid. We don't know who the Bucks are going to end up with. We don't know. Enjoy the ride. When you look at your quarterback situation, you look at your offensive line situation, which has been kind of settled. This should give everybody a little bit of comfort in letting the GM do his thing, whether it's the draft, whether it's free agency, whether it's the second or third wave of free agency coming in June, which you're going to see some players that, and I promise you, right here, you heard it right here, you're going to see some names in June that you did not think you would see on the streets available for some team to pick them up. Trust and believe me, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's playoff Lenny. For me
Exactly.
personally with the draft, I really, really, and this is super, I'm talking like first or second round, Gene.
Mhm.
Man, get an offensive tackle. What happened last year, Gene? Or 2 years ago, we lost Alex Kappa, and we
Mhm.
even lost Ali Marpet a little bit during the regular
Right.
season to a
Yep.
concussion.
Yep.
Our backup guards came in and did just fine.
Yeah.
What happens when one of our tackles goes down?
Exactly.
Why not look at a tackle who can, maybe even slide into play guard his first year? Maybe be a Donovan Smith replacement long term.
Yeah.
To me, I'm worried if anything happens to Donnie or Tristan. And Donnie's not even, in my eyes, still even a not a top 15 or not top 12, maybe a top 15 left tackle in the NFL. Like, he's not elite. And if you lose him, I mean, that's bad. I mean, we are so at Tristan Wirfs is the best right tackle in the game right now.
Yeah.
So if he goes down, it's already going to be pretty tough loss
Yeah.
anyway. But
We've seen that.
everyone's worried about the guard position, and to me, we got like four legit people who can compete for that guard spot.
I,
One of which we drafted last year in the third round.
yeah.
One that also came in the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game and showed out. So why is left guard? Granted, Ali Marpet, we're gonna love and miss him, but I think that can be replaced. Our offensive tackles are in an irreplaceable position right now.
Right. 100%. To Bud Canopoulos' point, Melvin Gordon is still a free agent, which I've seen that. Marlon Mack, Sony Michelle. I think Sony Michelle is still a free agent, right?
Yes.
Rashad.
Again, running backs can be found anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rashad Penny is still available. There's still some running backs out there. I don't think the Bucs are done at running back. I think you're going to see some more because they've experienced it not having that full complement of running backs, and I'm not 100% sold on Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah, but I think Keyshawn Vaughn's a fine
my man
third
Jay,
running
what's up,
back.
Jay? I'm too full to criticize this podcast, and
Is that mullet Jay?
yeah, my guy, man, with the greatest mullet in America.
And then hey, if you ever been to a tailgate with Jay, this man knows how to grill. That's
Yeah,
all I'm gonna say.
allegedly. Yeah, allegedly.
I'm not gonna say allegedly. I'm gonna
You know,
say for a
me and
fact.
me and Jay were supposed to hang out. I was it was
So you're
Gasparilla.
salty.
Yeah, a little bit. Gasparilla week. I'm like, hey Jay, man, when we gonna get together, bro? Um, yeah, we'll get together. I got some stuff going on. Let me meet up with you, man. Okay, no, we got some stuff going on. Okay, cool. Oh, I got to go to work the next day. Okay, we got some stuff going on. We get closer to the weekend. Gasparilla, you know. Oh, and I'm part of a crew, so I got to come on Friday. I got to get beads, get my bead station on the float where the beads need to go, and we hang out a little bit, and then the next day is Gasparilla. So I was in no condition to drive when Gasparilla was over, and we didn't really get to hang out. And so, yeah, I'm a little salty, but I'm
But is that your fault or his fault?
no, it's not anybody's fault. It's just
Oh,
like
you're just upset at the situation.
I'm upset at the situation. I can get mad
Okay.
at the situation because it's not a person, place, or thing. It is, and I really wanted to hang out with him, drink some PBRs, and grill some stuff, and maybe shoot off a gun or two or something. You know, and just hang out. But again, I will be there. I think for the 4th of July parade in Tampa, I will be there.
Oh,
Uh,
4th of July parade? Okay, I
yeah,
didn't even know.
Mystic Crew of Santa Margarita, baby, my people. But anyway,
I guess.
yeah. So I will be throwing
But
beats.
but shout
Oh,
out Jay. He's my type master. He's my autocorrect. He's my spell checker.
that's
He's
why we keep him
my
around, man. That's
grammar police. He. If you ever need anyone good, just hit up a Jay on
Yep.
Twitter.
Okay,
Fam.
real quick. Rob G has a good question here. I'm liking Devonta Wyatt from Georgia, 6'2", 304, ran a 4.740. Have you any?
Okay, so Devonta Wyatt, Gene, he is one of the two Georgia defensive linemen that really stood out. They had the amazing defense this past year.
Right.
He's probably has the best film between him and then Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
But Jordan Davis is the guy who's like 340 pounds that ran like 4.6 or 4.7, whatever that ungodly time was. And just to give everyone else reference, like Vita Vea was like right at 5 or just below or right above 5. Like Jordan Davis moved, and it was the most impressive thing I've ever seen by a human being. So, he's just already gonna skyrocket.
I
If
mean, it's
if
and I've found that 40 times are a myth, right up there with the salary cap. I put the salary cap in 40 times. If you're running a 60, you can get a better idea of what you have with somebody personally, as opposed to a 40. I think when you're running a 40, you're getting up to your top speed right at the 40 yard mark. And you get and I could be wrong again. I could be wrong, but I think you get a better idea of what you have. Because when you look at Jameis Winston, I mean, I hate to use him as an example. Everybody clowned him because of his 40 time. But you look at Tom Brady, they clowned him because of his 40 time. These are football players. And make
Yeah, but that's
and
also the QB position though. So
yeah,
like, but
yeah.
but what I will say is like even for a receiver, like it's like okay, we're talking D lineman right now. D lineman like that those first 10 to 15 yards are the most important. For a receiver, I agree with you. Like 60 is a better judge of how you can get that momentum and then maintain it more
Mhm.
so than just get to the top speed. So I think they could be a little bit more dynamic, but the 40 is just now the bee's knees. It's what because now the combine is a televised event. I
Yeah.
mean, hell, like my fiance 4 years ago, this is how she fell in love with DK Metcalf. Like she saw this big ass dude running 4.4 4.3. Like that's exciting stuff, and that's why the 40 just sadly will never go away.
Yeah. And again, to me, it's not a yeah, I look at the 40, yeah, okay, whatever. There were some 40 times that I've seen that were just like incredible, but when you just piece it all together, it's not the same thing. So
And then T. Smitty's throwing this on here. So, like for instance, when we talk about Jordan Davis, I mean, he didn't even play half the snaps at Georgia. Granted, they had a great D line rotation, but Jordan Davis is basically a Vita Vea type player. versus Devonta Wyatt, which is more of your three technique. And Rob G in the chat put his 10 yard split time, which is 1.6, which is up there with, quick, people like Aaron Donald. But
Yeah.
like that's to me, I want the Bucs to have more of a presence in a four-man rush. I think when the Bucs played games last year and they said it's okay if you want to run on us, except for Levante David got hurt in that Jets game. I think there's just a lot going on. But every other game, really, like it was like the Colts, for instance, when Jonathan Taylor goes down the field and the Bucs have the lead. Well, 6-7 minutes went off the clock while you were doing that. Like I think the Bucs they're going to score 30 every game. So if teams want to try to run, great. But this defense needs to get home with 4 because they can't
That's
afford to
the key, right?
blitz.
That's the key right there. They were getting home with 4 at certain points against the in 2020. We did see that, and I
Well, in
just
the
felt
playoffs, especially
right.
more so, even
Yeah,
in the regular season.
100%. I felt like something. I don't know what it was, but the 2021 season, something was missing. Something was like off. And I don't know if it was because the secondary was never able to be 100% healthy. I'm not making
No,
excuses.
I think it's the D line. I mean, like we saw Vita Vea, his best efficiency last year is just literally bull rushing people into the quarterback, that's
Right,
what he does is great. JPP wasn't himself, and we talked
right.
about it on this podcast. Joe Tryon Sharinka, for better or for worse, needed those reps
Yeah.
than JPP did. JPP just needed to sit on the bench for 6-8 weeks, maybe play the last week or two of the season and see, hey, like what can you do in the playoffs in a,
Or
in a
put him
backup
on a pitch
rotational
count.
role.
Put him on a pitch.
Exactly. No, but he was playing the majority of snaps, and that to me was the issue because Shaq Barrett is an undersized, low or not as wide wingspan as like the ideal. Like Joe Tryon Sharinka is everything you want prototype
Mhm.
wise in a pass rusher. Shaq
Right.
Barrett is the opposite of anything like him. Shaq Barrett is all technique. So if you put a second body on Shaq Barrett, or give him the chip, or do give him guard help, like Shaq Barrett's not that elite player. And again, I'm like his biggest fan, cousin Shaq. I love you. But
Yep.
like he's the guy who, if he has a one-on-one, he's gonna win significantly more than he loses.
Sweet.
But
Exactly.
JPP was consistently losing against the run, in the pass rush. Sue that's just not his game anymore.
Mhm.
Like I mean, he's a step slow, but he's still
But
ultra
I tell you
physical.
what, the
He
one thing
also
that
was playing on like a torn PCL or something. He had like a strained PCL, which was wild. The fact that he even played on that.
the and what I love about Ndamukong Suh, he plays smart. I mean, we know that he had the physical abilities, the speed, the get off, and all this other stuff, and he's like kind of honed his game a little bit since he's went with the Bucs, and he's still able to be someone productive, just by kind of changing his game up, and he's still effective, on that line. Again, these are players that you got to kind of look at not replacing them, but bringing people in that can be in a position to replace them when the time comes. So definitely something to kind of look forward to. 813-358-8154. Couple of things here. We've got some shirts to give away from Smack Apparel. If you are following me on Twitter, my question of the day: when the Bucs play in Germany, what team do you think the Bucs are going to play? First answer I get in my DMs. If the first correct answer I get in my DMs will get a t-shirt from Smack Apparel. I think I had it up earlier. Should I show the shirt again? You think I should?
Sure, yeah. To
Let's
me,
make
it's
it.
between two teams, but I'm not going to say them out loud.
Yeah. No, we can say. I
Oh,
mean, they can just because I think it's going to be Kansas City, personally. That's
well,
my
we had a German reporter report that it was going to be Kansas City, but I still think the Saints are a solid backup plan for them. Um, I don't know. We'll see because I mean the
you
NFC
think it'll
South. I
be
think.
you think it'll be somebody from Who Dat Nation? Or you think it'll be
Well, I think it's either going to be a division game or it's going to be like a bigger game, like like a Patrick Mahomes. I just don't know if they want to risk the TV odd. Like you're not going to get the West Coast viewer. That's a 6:30 a.m. kickoff,
yeah,
if not earlier.
yeah. Absolutely. So this is the shirt that Smack Apparel has rolled out for us, and you got to appreciate Giselle letting my guy come out and play and do his thing. So Giselle, God bless you. I appreciate you. And yeah, this is the shirt right here, the unfinished business shirt. Uh, you know, compliments of Smack Apparel, and you can't help but appreciate those guys over there. So this is awesome. Looking forward to it. So, again, 813-358-8154. If you want to call in, you're more than welcome to. Um, Let us know your thoughts on any of this. So this is kind of cool. Shooter, get my Shooter's trying to go all Will Smith on me here. What's going on, bro? I never say anything. She's got nice flowing hair. I didn't say anything. So there is that. But yeah, that is a shirt. And this is what we're kind of giving away, but kind of make this fun. You want to call in, you want to talk about the draft, you want to talk about free agency or just whatever, you want to call in, feel free. 813-358-8154. You can call in. We'll be more than happy to chat with you. I was expecting a certain hockey podcast host to call in, but again, he's let me down. But I'm used to it, just because of who he is and just how he is. And when he had his own Twitter, we actually had Twitter wars. It was really bad. I mean, I don't, I'm
Well,
trying.
I remember when I first joined the podcast, you two would ban each other every damn episode.
It was so funny. It was so funny because people thought they're like, you don't like Shooter. I was like, no, that guy's a jerk, man. I hate that guy. And so people believed that we actually legitimately hated each other. We just lobbed insults at each other just the whole day. It was so entertaining. And people would be in our DMs like, you really don't like him? And I'm like, no, I don't like him. No, he's a bum. But we have to work together. So that's the only reason I haven't unfollowed him on Twitter. But anyway, so I kind of had to throw that out the window now because, well, I'm actually on the Shooter in the Stash website on Facebook now. So you can find Buck What You Heard on Shooter in the Stash, where it's normally hockey, but when it's not hockey, it's football and anything else Tampa. So what are your thoughts on baseball being back? And I know that you were a two-sport guy. How are you feeling about all this?
I don't like the shortened-ish season, but it's nice to see, some spring training games. Just wish I could have gone down to Florida or made my way out to Arizona or something to catch some games. Because North Carolina, we don't have any, pro teams over here, so that stinks. But Wade Boggs, I loved his little proposal. I don't know if
Oh
you saw
my
that on
God,
Twitter.
yes.
But I mean, I think it's exciting for Rays fans. I think the Rays, even though I don't think Freddie Freeman really wanted to come to Tampa. I think he was just using the offer as leverage.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think baseball just being back on the full season again, the lockout just being over, is just a breath of fresh air. But I mean, man,
And for me, and I know people are not probably going to like this, but I am, me being one of the newest Rays fans, around because I have not been happy with the Rays. I would have jumped on board 100% if the Rays had been in Hillsborough County, and I know a lot of people will not get that, but having to drive over the bridge because I grew up, and this is true story, grew up a Yankees fan.
you and me both. But
I grew up a Yankees fan,
I
and
don't like the way
George
the Yankees run things these days.
and George Steinbrenner, what George Steinbrenner did for Tampa. You couldn't help but just you were a Yankee fan because the Rays weren't around at that time. And finally, when they got a baseball team here and they were making moves, and I was preparing to switch my loyalty over to the Rays, and all these moves that were being made, and I couldn't understand why are they doing this. And when they got rid of Randy Wynn, I just was like, man, I can't do this. I can't make this move. I can't jump over this. But finally, we're at a point where it looks like Baseball is going to be back on the other side of the bridge, and I will not have to drive over the Howard Franklin to go over to Tropicana Field. I'm hoping, on my fingers crossed, and the whole Sister City debacle is over with. I'm glad about that because Montreal tourism, and I can say this is my show. I can say this: Montreal tourists are not the nicest people in the world. Just from my personal experiences, so I can put it at. But again, the thought that the Rays baseball could potentially be in Hillsborough County gives me a thrill. So, I'm on board, finally in the fold with all the Tampa sports entities now, and I'm glad to be here.
I love it.
But anyway, a long story short, that's pretty much what it is.
Well, and see, that's I mean, with everything that happened with the Lightning, I never really was a hockey guy until COVID, when that was basically the only sport that was on. That and basketball eventually came, but hockey just went right in. They were playing games at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Like that's how I got into hockey, and now I've
It's
gotten really into. But now, like, I mean, I mean, Brett Phillips go way back. So like, I mean, for the past year and a half, 2 years, I mean, I've been watching more Rays than I have
yeah.
even Yankees or anyone else, really, if I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, and it's funny because the girl I was dating, she actually got me into Lightning hockey. And she had really nice seats. We always had nice seats whenever we would go to the games. And they won the Stanley Cup that year. And I was just like, wow, this is great. And she pretty much, the one thing I will say about the women of Tampa, they know their hockey. And historically, this isn't like, oh, they just started learning over the past 2 years. These women, there are women in Tampa that know hockey better than some of those clowns in New York or Boston or Montreal or Toronto, wherever. These women know their hockey and they can break it down to you just whenever. And I've seen that. I've been to two Lightning games, one in Tampa, one in Phoenix. And it was a great time. And it was just so amazing listening to just seeing how the fans travel for the Lightning. It's just exciting. It's an exciting time.
Well, yeah, I mean that Nashville trip, like I wish it's hindsight's 2020. I wish I would have gone to that.
Yeah. I tell you what, and talking with Shooter, they had the watch party. Shooter in the stash had the watch party. And it's funny. I think the next game, I think Tampa is got to be at the top of the list when you talk about the Lightning being a team to just kind of represent, just because of the way that Lightning fans travel now. It's awesome to see it.
Well, and I mean now we're looking at a three-peat. I mean, and I know the Carolina Hurricanes are number one in the standings for the NHL, but like works out great for me. I get to go to playoff games with the Lightning.
Exactly. And it's awesome. I've
Hey, I'm 2 for 2 in Lightning playoff games with them winning and advancing. So let them come to Raleigh. That's all I'm gonna say.
exactly. And even when the games are away, Lightning fans are just amazing. Just I just say Tampa
Well,
sport.
hockey fans in general. I mean, hockey is such a fun sport to watch live. Arguably
Yeah,
better than probably football and
it's definitely better in
basketball.
baseball. Definitely better in baseball.
I think baseball is better live than
I
on the
don't know.
TV.
I mean, just because when I look at baseball, and you're watching the game, okay, 9 innings, you have to you lose your focus at times. But with hockey, you have to be focused on the ring. You have to be focused on the ice. You have to be focused on, if you're looking for a certain player and the way they're rotating players in and out, and the flow of the game, you cannot take your eyes off the game, because you might get busted in the head with a puck too. But no, sir, all joking aside, you have to focus on the game if you want to keep up with it. So, again, hockey, I encourage people, if you can, just learn the basics of it. It's a fun sport to catch on to.
Exactly.
Ramona Kay, proudly showing up with her Miami Dolphins, and see, you got the cheetah down there, and you took a few pieces, or you took one of the big pieces from New Orleans, which I'm happy about. Thank you for that. You can have him, and I'm good with that. So you're welcome. I'm glad you're here. And again, that's what we do here. This is a safe zone. It doesn't matter what your team is. You're always welcome here. So that's kind of where we are. But anyway, we talked a little bit about baseball, hockey. Again, I'm shocked. Nobody called in. I am so shocked. It's disappointing. Well, I must be doing something wrong. But 813-358-8154. 813-358-8154. I am giving away a Giselle. Thank you, Giselle t-shirt. God bless Giselle. I'm giving away a t-shirt from Smack Apparel. The next person that calls in, 10 questions, 1 minute, real easy to do. Great opportunity to get a shirt, to show your support for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, show your support for the Brady family, and unfinished business. I didn't like the way the game ended, with the Rams, and I think the Bucs have a lot to prove. So it's going to be this year, man. I think this is a year the Bucs are going to shut up a lot of people that are have what they have to say, and again, it's all fun. But anyway, we are about out of time. I ran a little bit longer than what I expected to, but we just sitting here talking a little bit of sports. Not a whole lot going on as we get closer to the draft this year. Your guy Gene is getting back into the draft, looking at draft prospects, looking at players. I'm horrible at this. I'm better at fantasy football than I am at the draft, which I don't know. It didn't say much. Yeah. But anyway, but
the nice thing about being the Bucs is lately we've been going so late in the playoffs or winning the Super Bowl to the point that, like, Gene, I used the draft. That's how I got into writing and podcasting, is because like that's just the juicy build up, like, the thing to look forward to. I used to do top 100s like it was nothing. I would have been done a month ago. The past 2 seasons, I'm barely been able to make a top 50 just because I want to narrow it down to what people I think the Bucs would want in the first 2 rounds, essentially.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is Jason Light's doing such an amazing job with free agency, with the draft, with the pieces that he's brought in, and we see that with free agency. Alex Kappa, a Bucs draft pick, moving on. Just players that the Bucs have drafted that they can't afford to keep, and they've just kind of moved, or they don't want to keep, and they've moved on, and they've they're bringing in other people. And Olga, this is a safe zone. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to be scared of. You want to call in 813-358-8154. I'd love to hear from you. Olga is a long time Bucs fan from way back. We're talking about the first big Super Bowl run and playoff run, and the original gangsters that they had, with Sapp and Brooks and all the other guys. And she's just been a long suffering Bucs fan. And it's just awesome that, she's around, and she's, supporting a lot of the different podcasts out there. But anyway, next week, guys, you saw the shirt. We will be giving away this shirt. God bless Giselle. Unfinished business, Smack Apparel. If you get a chance, be sure to go out there, check out smackapparel.com. Pick up a shirt. Again, we do have the ongoing contest going up until Monday. I will be taking answers. If you want to call in or message, DM me on Twitter. Who do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will face in Germany? I'm really curious, who we're talking about here. And Emily, I will reach out to Smack Apparel and see where your shirt is. Hopefully you should be getting those here pretty soon. Ramona, thank you for calling in, or for being in the chat. Bud Cannibalist. I'm going to go through everybody and make sure I get everybody this time. Bud Cannibalist. Robert Jackson. Thank you, Robert, for taking time to get in and join the chat. You're greatly appreciated. I hope I answered your question. Yankees fans, Yankee fans have been here for so long, as long. That's why we built a mini. Exactly. This is true. This is very true. So King Cook, always bringing it, always bringing the great questions. Cam Gill, I would love to see more of Cam Gill. Hopefully, we'll see more of Cam Gill during preseason. Hopefully, he'll get his opportunities. I love the big coaching staff, and I do hope that the Bucs will give these players the opportunities to get out there and play. I believe that they will. So it's one of those other things that I'm super excited about, super hyped about, Robert. So again, T Smitty, as always, T Smitty, great to hear from you. Rob G, longtime listener. Thank you, Rob. And Ken Barrett. That name sounds familiar. Oh, I know that from. Sounds familiar, but it'll come to me probably after the show's over. But anyway, guys, we are about to get out of here. KB, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
Twitter, Bucs_Barrett. Simple as ever.
Exactly. Got to follow this guy, especially when we're getting closer to the draft. He's always dropping gems here and there. And,
Gene, I'll tell you right now, I got PTO off for the draft. So your
are you
boy's
going
ready.
to Vegas? You going to Vegas?
No. But I'm going to not work, and I'm going to actually soak all of everything in. By the time we talk Wednesday, I will tell you everything you need to know on the 7, draft picks or however many draft picks Jason winds up having this year.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll know everything.
Yeah, I got summoned for jury duty. I'm not sure how this is all going to work out.
Wait, for when? When are you summoned for?
I don't know. It's sometime in the near future. So,
man.
But I'm going to do my part. I'm start watching Law and Order so I can object to some stuff and I can grill a public defender, and I'm going to be in there. Hopefully, they don't kick me out, and just we'll see what happens. Should be entertaining. But anyway, guys, you can follow me at Buck What You Heard on Twitter. You follow me, I will follow you back. Doesn't have to be football. It can be baseball. It can be wrestling, current events, life, whatever. Hit me up. You can follow me. I will follow you back. I enjoy having fun with this. It's the off season. Not a whole lot to talk about, but you know what? We made it all work. And anyway, guys, be safe out there. Don't be stupid. Don't drink and drive. Love your neighbor, etc., etc. And
stay off the tequila.
Yeah, and
just say no. Say no.
No, I don't listen to this guy. Tequila is your best friend. Remember that. Eat the worm. But anyway, we're out of here. And this is this week's edition of Buck What You Heard. Everybody have a good one. Peace.